leveraging your LinkedIn for professional impact, what you're going to be doing, you're going to be building your visibility, you're going to be building your credibility and influence as a security professional. So I guess by starting, we can start with a reflective question. We can start with a reflective question where we are asking, if someone searched your name on LinkedIn today, what would they learn about your professional value in the first 30 seconds? All right. So in the first 30 seconds, I'm thinking what someone would be able to see first is your LinkedIn profile storefront, like the immediate profile picture you have, the content you have at the banner picture, that is the picture that's behind your profile picture, probably your header, and probably the about section, before they get into the experience and the responsibilities and the certifications and the project and the licensing. That is what they would see first. All right. So that would be the first 30 seconds. So if someone was to open your LinkedIn profile and have a look at that, what would they learn about your professional value in the first 30 seconds? All right. Would your experience be properly represented? Yeah. Or would your experience not be matched with what you have on your LinkedIn profile? Because from my observation, based on the few professionals I've been working with to help them enhance their LinkedIn presence, they seem to have very solid curriculum vitae or resumes. They have very spot on resumes. All right. Their resumes are very in-depth and they come with so much value because they have listed all the critical things that you'd want a potential hiring manager to know about you, or a potential organization you want to work with to know about you, or a project you want to be considered for, or a collaborator or a business partner. The CVs tend to be very punchy, all right? But the CV doesn't hold that capacity of information. So basically, you don't do yourself justice when that representation is not matched in your LinkedIn profile, because your LinkedIn profile is your digital resume. That's your digital resume. All right. So the fact that we are having so many professionals in the industry who are very experienced and they have a wealth of expertise, and yet that expertise and experience is not represented in their profiles, which also is their professional brand. Your profile, your LinkedIn profile is also your professional brand. The fact that that representation is mismatched is a problem. That is what we need to fix. When someone looks at your CV on paper or on soft copy, what is there needs to also be represented in your LinkedIn profile account, okay? Because in today's corporate environment, opportunities often find visible professionals, okay? And you will only be visible if you have that digital professional brand there in form of your LinkedIn profile account. And also expertise that is not visible is often overlooked. It is very hard for someone to know your capability and your potential or your talent when it's not fully there on your profile. All right. So have it well represented on your profile. Okay. So that it is not overlooked. Again, LinkedIn has become a professional reputational platform. It is not just a digital CV. It is a professional reputational platform. Like, the way we also talk of first impressions, like how do you want people to know you or remember you or to engage with you at first contact? So that professional reputation comes when you have a proper professional brand that is representing you as you are right now, as you are right now, and carrying your wealth of experience and expertise. Now, um, now, why LinkedIn matters, if you're wondering why this is important for me at all, why this matters is because LinkedIn now is no longer like an option. Back in the day, a few years back, LinkedIn was an optional social platform. You didn't have to be there, you know? But over time, the benefit of having that digital professional representation has been very well showcased now, because like all corporate organizations, when they are hiring experts and security professionals, as much as they are putting those opportunities in other job boards, LinkedIn is the leading platform where they are putting those vacancies and notifications and adverts. And it's not just on the job section. They are putting this on their pages because they have the LinkedIn company and organizational pages. So they are putting those recruitment adverts there. Okay. So it has become a professional reputational platform. Okay. And it is no longer optional. Now we are compelled to have a presence there because the world is changing. We are going very digital. We are going very digital. All right. And talking of digital, even the recruitment process now, it has been very much automated. If you were to apply for a job via LinkedIn through the job section, all right, it is very automated with AI, all right, in terms of the keyword search and all that and all that. And sometimes you will click the apply button and it will not redirect you to that organization or page where you have to fill in everything again into their data. Sometimes you press apply and it connects your profile account automatically to that job application. So your profile represents you as you have prepared it. All right. So we need to think of technology now and where we are in the world, and we need to leverage LinkedIn as a technological career and professional platform. All right, because it serves as a professional reputation platform. It's also a thought leadership platform. That is where we are having experts showcasing their insights, and we can learn from those insights as professionals. It has also become a networking ecosystem. We are networking a lot with professionals from all over the globe, Also, it's become a career advancement tool. That is where we are finding career opportunities. And it is also a business development channel. If you are running a business and you want to develop your business, that is where you will probably find potential clients. All right. Again, it has become a knowledge sharing community. There is so much important information that's shared there, and we can learn from that. The question is, you need to know how to filter what is credible and accurate information and what is not. Okay, you have to know how to filter the value, content, and the noise. All right. So making your LinkedIn profile your first professional introduction for many hiring managers and clients and conference organizers, collaborators, and industry leaders. Now, what are the challenges that we are facing as far as getting our profiles visible is concerned? Because that's a challenge most professionals are facing. So what are the most common LinkedIn visibility challenges that some professionals are facing? One of it is the incomplete professional profiles. Yeah, you have a profile, that it is half cooked. It is not complete. it is probably 30% done, 40%, 50% done, or 60%. And there are so many sections that you could be optimizing on, but they're missing. Or you have optimized on them, but by having created them, but they are not really fully capturing the relevant information in that section. Okay, so we are having incomplete professional profiles where we are having weak headlines, poor profile photos, generic summaries, missing accomplishments. So as a result, people see a profile but not a professional brand. They really don't see you a professional brand properly. Now, the other challenge is consuming more than creating, okay? So we are reading posts, we are liking content, we are scrolling daily, but we are rarely contributing insights. As a result, there is no visible expertise on our part. The other challenge is posting without strategy. So we are doing random posts. We are not having a target audience. That is, we don't know who really we are targeting when we are posting. We are not having a theme. We are lacking consistency in posting. So as a result, our posts get low engagement and limited impact. The other challenge is a lack of meaningful networking. So connections are accumulated, but not cultivated. So we are having profiles that are having a bigger number of connections or followers. But that's just it. Those connections and followers, we are not really nurturing any meaningful relationships. So as a result, professionals have large networks with very little influence. The other challenge that I can mention, and maybe this is something that maybe a few of you have also experienced, is that there is that fear of sharing. You fear to share. Okay, because you are afraid that people may criticize what you're sharing. They might criticize you, and you think like you don't have anything unique to say. You know, so as a result, you're hiding your knowledge. You're hiding your knowledge. It is not fair when you have so much good knowledge and wealth of experience and expertise, and you're not putting it out there because you're afraid of what people will think or what people will engage with the post. You're afraid of what people will say in the comments. LinkedIn can be harsh sometimes because you will post something and not everybody will agree with what you're posting, but that's the beauty of it. Let your content be criticized and turn it into a brainstorming place where if you post something and there's a critic somewhere or a different analysis point of view, it's also an opportunity for you to expound a conversation beyond what you had in mind. And it is also an opportunity for you to learn. All right. Maybe it's a different point of view that you had not considered, but now someone else is bringing it to the discussion. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I mean, the things that we see people posting, some is irrelevant, some is copy paste, some is AI based content, whereby somebody just gets information or content from AI and just pastes it there without contextualizing with the conversation, and they just post there and you don't see anybody criticizing them. I mean, why are you afraid? Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Okay, now strategies for professional impact. Okay, these are the strategies that we need to embrace so that we can now start making some headways and we can make improvements. Okay, we need to optimize our profiles. Optimize your profile, build a thought leadership theme, share insights and not information, develop a content rhythm, showcase professional evidence, engage intentionality, and build relationships, not connections. Now, let's break that down, okay? When it comes to optimizing your profile, what are we talking about? We are talking about the storefront, okay? For starters, focus on your professional storefront. What people see immediately they come to your LinkedIn profile. The 30 seconds or the 1 minute, what will they have seen about you to build or form an opinion, Uh, look at your professional photo. Have a professional photo if you don't have one. Okay? Your professional photo should be clear, it should be approachable, and it should have an executive presence. Okay? That selfie you took somewhere at a vacation or an excursion you went and you looked good on it, but you are wearing a t-shirt or a casual outfit, well, it really doesn't it doesn't speak executive presence. Like, wear something professional and take a proper photo, that is clear, and you're not so serious and stone-faced. Look approachable as well. That is what a professional photo looks like, okay? And also at the headline, okay, whatever you put in your headline, we shall see what that is when we go to the browser and I use my LinkedIn account to interpret. What you put on the headline is supposed to be your identity, and it should be strategic, and it should also speak your value proposition. Okay? Some profiles don't have a headline, and if they do, it really doesn't represent them. Okay? Again, the about section. That is the section that is between the headline and the featured section. And if you don't have any featured material, then you go to your experience. That section in between is the about section, and it should tell your professional story. It should cover who you are, what you do, problems you solve, and areas of expertise. All right. So that storefront should properly represent you, and it should look professional. And the second strategy of building a thought leadership theme, let's avoid posting about everything. Let's talk about posting about everything. All right. Because one, if you want to be intentional with your LinkedIn engagement, you have to also consider the way the LinkedIn algorithm works, all right? If you're engaging and posting everything, funny memes, jokes, and all that, things that are not professional related, or they are professional related, but out of the security risk scope, what happened is the feed you're going to be getting when you open your LinkedIn feed or your homepage where you see the postings from other people or your connection, it is going to be based on what you're engaging with and posting with, which is outside the security aspect. All right. So I'm not saying don't engage with anything that's not security related, okay? But be cautious of the fact that you have to manage that to some degree. Overdoing it gets your feed out of control. All right. So choose 3 to 5 focus areas. For example, in your posting, you can choose to specialize with 3 to 5 areas that can be, for example, security risk management, physical security or security technology systems, crisis management, security leadership, incident management, criminology and investigation, etc., because we know the security discipline is quite expansive, okay? And you can engage based on your experience and expertise, depending on your sector, where you're working, the industry and sector you are in. You are an expert already in that. Use that experience to share the insights based on these example focus areas, okay? What this does is that it creates consistency and recognition. People begin to associate your name with that particular expertise. Now, as far as the strategy of sharing insights and not information is concerned, now most professionals share information while few share interpretation. Okay, so example, instead of posting a post that has to do with the topic of the routine activity theory, the theoretical concept of the routine activity theory, The routine activity theory, I'm sure you all know about the routine activity theory. It is a criminal theory that helps us interpret the way offenders and adversary reason, all right, or how our controls can be manipulated or circumvented, all right, so that we can better design them, all right? So instead of just posting the theoretical concept of this theory, just a description of the theory and what it is, change that concept and instead post the practical application of the theory using a case study or a case scenario, elaborating how everyday patterns can provide both opportunity and means to offenders, expounding why understanding criminal cognitive behavior in asset protection can improve the design controls during decision making. Okay, so that gets more engagement and more value in terms of who you are influencing in decision making, as opposed to just sharing content for information, just theoretical aspects. The theoretical concept doesn't trigger engagement. However, a practical application does, because someone wants to see how you are expounding on the practical application so that they can learn from it or they can share based on their experience, okay? Leverage your security expertise to share insights. You have the experience and the expertise, leverage it to share those insights. The other strategy of developing a content rhythm. Now, visibility requires consistency, all right? Your content weekly framework can look like this. This is just an example. You can be posting on Monday, industry insights. You can then post on Wednesday, professional reflection, and on Friday, a case study or lesson learned, okay? Consistency beats intensity. It doesn't have to be a 3-post weekly frequency, because that could be impossible for some of us, all right? But my point here is do regular postings. Maybe post once a week, all right? As opposed to you posting this month and then the next time you post is the next month. Others go for 2 months without posting, but we are engaging on the comment section, but we are not posting, all right? So that throws off your content rhythm. So let's have a bit of consistency. Assign yourself particular days of the week when you want to be posting. And then showcase professional evidence. Demonstrate your expertise through case studies, lessons learned, conference participation, certifications acquired, research, professional projects. This helps show your professional outcomes, not merely activities, okay? What a lot of professionals are good in doing is sharing certifications acquired. That we are very good at doing. And it is a good thing. It is a good thing because we have to celebrate our accomplishments, okay? And we need to demonstrate that what we are learning about and what we are getting certified on and where we are getting certified on. But it is really not enough, okay? Evidencing our professionalism also includes us sharing case studies, sharing the lessons that we are learning in the industry on a day-to-day, sharing our conference participation, sharing any research that we have, and also sharing our professional projects. The other strategy is engaging intentionally. Visibility is built through conversations. Comment and engage on industry discussions, security trends, risk management debates. High-quality comments often generate more visibility than posts. And this is very true. Don't be the professional who just engages with a post by just saying, thanks for sharing. Okay, there's nothing wrong with saying thanks for sharing because you are really appreciating some material or article that was shared. You found it insightful, all right? But if you can just engage further with that material or piece, how does it resonate with you? How is that something you have experienced in work? Have you applied that material in work? How did that work out for you? Bring in your point into play. Engage and give your point of view. all right? As opposed to just saying one thing. You know, some of us just post great. That's it. Thanks for sharing. That's it. You know, I agree. That's it. So that really doesn't engage intentionally. All right. Again, build relationships and not connections. The value of LinkedIn is not the number of connections. The value is in the quality of professional relationship. That again is another misconception that we, as professionals, we tend to think if I can have more connections and more followers, then I'm doing something of value. But that really is not the case. The question is, what is the quality of your professional relationships? The connections you're having, what is the value? Engage with security leaders, risk practitioners, industry associations, potential mentors, future collaborations, okay? My goal is be intentional with who you're connecting on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn has a way of notifying you when you get a connection request. Sometimes you might even accept a connection, but LinkedIn forewarns you and tells you, confirm that that profile is a familiar, like, or you have mutual connections before you post. And sometimes when you click on those profiles, some of them have zero connections. Some of them are professionals working in different industries. All right. So again, it just protects you so that you don't just connect with bots or funny characters, you know? So let your connection also be intentional when you're building relationships. Again, you can embrace this visibility formula, the professional impact formula that you can also embrace is this. For you to gain that professional influence, what do you really need? Is it important to just have a professional profile or a professional brand that's visible? Or do you need to have consistency, credibility, networking? Yeah, they all need to layer. Like you need to bring in your expertise. All right. It needs to come out when you're engaging through your posts and your comment engagement. Okay. Again, there needs to be visibility. So you need to post and engage. And you need to have consistency. All right. Have a content rhythm that aligns with your schedule. And have engage in a credible manner. Okay. In other words, showcase evidence your profession development. You know, whatever you're showcasing is backing your expertise and professional experience. That is what brings out your credibility, you know, and networking. All right. Network with intention, connect with intention. All these things layer for you to have that professional influence. Okay. And that is the sort of visibility that we want, visibility that is impactful. Now, I want us to schedule ourselves for a practical 30-day challenge. Okay, this is where practicality starts. I want us to schedule ourselves for a practical 30-day challenge. Okay, for the next 30 days, let's update our profile headlines. Let's rewrite our about sections, and let us try and publish one post weekly. All right. At least try and publish one post weekly. I do have a habit, a discipline, I guess I have embedded in my routine and in my schedule. I have to post once a week, at least once a week. There's a mandatory posting I do for every Wednesday. Whether I'm busy or not that busy, I must post every Wednesday. I've been doing that for the last, I think, 3 years. Every Wednesday, I have to post. But sometimes, if my schedule accommodates, I find myself posting 3 times in a week. That is on Monday and on Wednesday, the mandatory one, and on Friday. All right? But If your schedule can't allow you to post more than once, then stick to one post in a week and fix it on a particular day of the week where you know you can really do it with intention, okay? Also, comment on 5 industry posts weekly. And when I talk of commenting, I don't mean the great and the thanks for sharing and the insightful and that's it. I mean, try and engage with that conversation. Try and engage with the subject that is being discussed in that post conversation. All right. Also, connect with 2 professionals weekly. Okay. You don't have to wait for connections to reach out to you so that you can accept or decline their connection request. Look for professionals in line with what you're doing or who you can learn from, you know, or like they can either mentor you or they can share relevant information or they are sharing case studies you can learn from, because you know your career and you know where you're heading. So if they speak to you on or in one way or another, connect with them. And now commit to connecting to 2 professionals in a week. All right. Some of us go a week, even 2, without connecting with anybody. I know I'm guilty of that. I'm very quick to accept connections, but I'm very poor in connecting with other people. So that is something I'll also participate in this challenge, obviously. And then share one professional lesson learned. Okay. Now you can choose to do that in your weekly post. You can choose to share a lesson that you've learned in your weekly post, all right? Because small actions compound. If you do this over the next 30 days, you will start to form a habit. Now make that habit stick even after the challenge. I will schedule a session for us after the 30 days to discuss progress. All right, we shall reconvene and discuss the progress that we have made, as well as what are the challenges that we have probably experienced in that journey of optimizing our LinkedIn accounts. Now, the key takeaways here are LinkedIn is a professional reputation platform that we need to get that. It is a professional reputational platform. Expertise without visibility limits opportunities. If you have the expertise, and I know all of you do, if you are not putting it out there, it's not be seen, you are limiting your opportunities. Consistent sharing builds credibility. All right? So be consistent. Be consistent. That leadership begins with sharing insights. Share your insights. You have plenty of them. They are backed by your knowledge, skills, and your expertise and experience. Meaningful engagements create influence. So when you're engaging, let it be meaningful, all right? And be a professional about it. I'm not saying that we should all be very serious in LinkedIn. I mean, sometimes some posts create some form of banter. We can be humorous about it, okay? But let your engagements be meaningful. Again, professional impact is intentional, not accidental. You are not going to make professional impact by accident. It won't happen overnight. You have to invest in that effort. So you have to be intentional about it, okay? Now, to get us started so that we can begin the 30-day challenge, to get us started, I do want us to look at a scorecard. This is how the scorecard looks, your LinkedIn Professional Impact Scorecard. This is how you're going to measure your professional impact right now. Okay, so that you can know what you need to work on. And it is based on what we have discussed earlier on, okay? So the purpose of this scorecard is to assess how effectively your LinkedIn presence supports your professional visibility, credibility, influence, and career growth, all right? So the scoring guide is going to have a score and rating. Score 1 is going to represent poor or not evident. Score 2 is going to represent needs significant improvement. Score 3 is going to represent adequate. Score 4 is going to represent strong, and score 5 is going to represent excellent and aligned with best practices, okay? Now, this scorecard is going to have different domains. We are going to have the profile strength with different criterias, all right? And then we are going to have the visibility with different criterias, all right? With a score of 1 to 5, and there's a subtotal. Whatever you get out of the 25 marks, but the goal is to strive for 20 points. So that is for comparative purposes. And then we are going to have the thought leadership section or domain with a criteria that suits it. Then we are going to have the networking quality, all right? And then we are going to have the engagement effectiveness. Now, in a nutshell, the first section of profile strength, this section will aim to showcase if your profile clearly communicates who you are and the value you bring, all right? And the second section is going to showcase, or the goal of it is to showcase if people are likely to discover and recognize your expertise, okay? And then the third one of thought leadership is going to aim to showcase if you influence professional conversations. And the fourth one of networking quality, it is going to establish if your network is aligned to your professional objectives, all right? And then the fifth one is going to represent, or rather, is going to be for engagement effectiveness. This section will aim to establish how effectively you participate in professional connections, all right? And then finally, you'll be able to add all the scores, you total them and see where you fall under. So if you add all the scores and you are below 30, it means that you are a hidden professional and significant opportunity to improve. You have a significant opportunity to improve your professional impact. All right. If you qualify between 31 and 49, it means that you are having limited visibility. You have the expertise, it exists, and the experience, but is not effectively being communicated. All right. So, for instance, for you to get to your total completely, this is very self-explanatory, all right? For instance, in the first section of profile strength, the first criteria statement is professional profile photo. Does it project credibility and executive presence, all right? So you need to score yourself between 1 and 5 in this section, all right? And the rating is at the top. So does your profile photo project credibility and executive presence? Is it poor and not evident? You score yourself 1 if that's the case. Does it need significant improvement? You score yourself 2. Is it adequate? You score yourself 3. Is it strong? You score yourself 4. Is it excellent and aligned with best practice? You score yourself 5. So if you score yourself 5, for example, you come and put that 5 in that score, and then you do the rest you do the same for the rest of the criteria, and then you total the number of scores in that section. You do the same for all the sections, and then you get your total rating, and then you now come and score your impact rating based on where the marks you fall under, all right? Now, when you look at the profile, when you look at the profile strength, I want us to look at that because I want to go to my profile and see whether I'm hitting that criteria, all right? We're going to do this very quickly for purposes of not pushing this further. The first profile strength, this section obviously will aim to show whether my profile is clearly communicating with who I am and the value that I'm bringing, all right? So the criteria is going to be assessing the professional profile photo, whether it's credible, it has executive presence. It's also going to be looking at the banner image, whether it supports professional brand and expertise, as well as the headline. What is it communicating? Is it communicating expertise and value proposition? As well as the about section, It needs to tell a compelling professional story, and as well as the experience section. Does it highlight achievements rather than responsibilities, which tends to be the case for most of us? In our experience, we just put our responsibilities currently or previously where we were, but we never really highlight the contributions, the key contributions that we made, okay? And do we have the certifications and qualifications and credentials? Are they visible and are they current? All right. Again, the featured section, what is being showcased there? Are we showcasing our key work, publications, or presentations? Does the profile provide a clear evidence of professional specialization? All right. Now let's get to my profile. This is my LinkedIn account. All right. Now, the first section, we are looking at the profile section. We need to look at my profile picture. Is it giving credit? Is it giving professionalism and executive presence? Okay. The banner is this section that's on top of the profile or behind the profile picture. This banner, a lot of us don't leverage it and take advantage of it, but it is part of your storefront. All right. So we need to also consider that when we go to the rating. And this is the header. You see this section where I write, or where I demonstrate, what I am, what am I doing, and what's the value. Security risk management specialist. All right. Helping organizations transform to risk-based frameworks. A masterclass coach, helping professionals transition from operations to strategic risk leadership. So I'm highlighting what I do and my capability, because that should be the goal. What I do, my capability, and it also aligns with the vision. This is what I want to be known for. It's what I'm doing, and it is what I want professionals to know me for, all right? You realize that sometimes this area is very restricted to very few words. You might have a lot to say, but you're restricted because I think it's supposed to be, is it 200 or 250 words? I'm not quite sure. So it's restrictive. So you then take advantage of the banner. The banner now is where you can put more information. You can design it to accommodate more information about you. You can have your website. If you have one, you can put more titles to yourself, all right? That is the header, all right? Now, the other section that we were supposed to look at in that first section was the about section. This is the about section, all right? Some professionals have an about section, some haven't curated their about section. But again, this is part of your storefront, so you need to leverage on it. Obviously, my about section, I have tried to start by highlighting what I am and what I do presently. All right. It brings in my previous experience in the corporate security industry. All right. Then the caliber of clients I worked with. Then it brings in the aspect of certification, because that brings in my credibility. All right. What do I do? And again, what are the problems that I'm solving? All right. And because I'm open to work with different collaborators and clients, I leave my email because I want whoever is reading and is interested to be able to reach me and engage me further. All right. Still in that section, there was the featured section. Now, how do you create a featured section? You see, like the post that you create that represents you and what you're doing, or a post you created and you are celebrating an accomplishment or a project you did and you're proud of, all right? You feature it. And featuring is very easy because you go to that post and right click on top and then you feature it. Okay. I believe, can we all feature? Can we all be able to make a feature in our profiles, or is somebody having difficulty to know how you to put a feature? Now, for instance, this is a post that I shared yesterday on Wednesday. I told you I have that mandatory content rhythm for sharing post every Wednesday. So if I wanted to feature this particular post, I click on that top icon. And then I click the star feature on top of profile. The moment I click that, then that post automatically comes into my feature section, okay? And you can, again, vice versa, remove posts from your feature section. You just unclick that. You go to the featured post and you unclick that, and they get back to their normal timeline of when you posted them. All right. That section of profile section also talked of experience. Are we just talking about responsibilities, or are we highlighting our key contributions? All right. And I did I came clean to you guys on that, and I told you that I'm not doing that. I've done that in my current roles. All right. In my current roles as a security risk management consultant and masterclass coach and lead facilitator, I have highlighted the contribution, key achievements, and roles. But when you look at my previous assignments, I have not done a good job at that. I have just highlighted the responsibilities, and I know a lot of us are guilty of that. I know a lot of us are guilty of that. As you can see here, let's look at my role in Wells Fargo as a client relationship manager in the valuables in transit or VIT function. Okay. I have highlighted the roles, the things that I did, but I have really not highlighted the achievements. Where were my key contributions? Things that I did and they stood out to the employer, or I made a change within the function. What initiatives did I introduce that made a difference in service delivery and all that? Those are your key achievements. My profile stand now is the professional profile photo. Does it project credibility and executive presence? I think it does. Okay, I think it does. I would rate that as adequate. All right. I would rate that as adequate. All right. It isn't strong and it isn't excellent. I've seen excellent profiles. Also, I would rate it as adequate. So I would rate it a 3. Now, the banner image, does it support professional brand expertise? I would honestly rate that as 2. I think it needs significant improvement, and I have been planning to improve on it, okay? Be realistic with your scorecard. You are not going to do yourself any justice if you sugarcoat. Be real with yourself, okay? Again, the headline clearly communicates expertise and value proposition. I think the headline is a strong one. I'll rate it a 4 because it properly represents what I'm doing and what I want to be known for in the industry. And about section tells a compelling professional story. I will rate it as adequate. All right. And it's always good to twerk it every once in a while. All right. Again, experience section highlights achievements rather than responsibilities. I would really rate that as a 2 because it needs significant improvement. I have not put the contributions in most of the experience sections. I've just put the role. So I would rate that a 2. All right. And the certification, qualifications, and credentials are visible and current. Okay, we didn't go far down to the credentials and certifications. There's a section for that in my profile, and it is visible and current. Does it require improvement? Yes, it does require improvement. In terms of adding those certifications, I need to get that list longer. All right. So I'm being real with myself. Okay. You also need to be very realistic with yourself. Again, the featured section. Does it okay show keyword publications or presentation? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, so I would rate that as a 3, adequate. And also the profile, does it provide clear evidence of professional specialization? I would rate that as a 3 because I think that is adequate. Okay, so then I would add all the scores. And then I'll do the same for the others.